the sculpture, and we have all determined that the location in Old Settlers Park that we have on a map would definitely work. The donors, the specific donors from Western Friends of Sculpture were on site. They agreed with the location. Their Friends Board agreed with the location. It's a good spot for us as far as utilities, et cetera, so.
Yes, it's not in the way of the Christmas tree or anything.
No,
that's
yep.
on the
And again, something we've talked about a little bit at council or at commission and hopefully more in 2026 is the possibility of even renovating Old Settlers Park because of the gazebo and all that. The West Bend Friends of Sculpture know that there's a potential that this whole area could get kind of rearranged and that sculpture might have to be moved again, so, yep.
Can you explain why that has a negative impact on the floodplain?
So there's one thing I did leave out of the memo is anything within eyesight as far as sculptures go, large structural changes, anything within eyesight of MOA, they have part of their agreement with the city, they also have the ability to thumbs up or thumbs down on certain projects and certain amenities. So that also played a factor into this.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, but the main reason is the floodplain analysis. So when they look at the floodplain, if you put anything in the floodplain, will it impact floodwaters if the waters rise high enough and all that? And I know in August we had a 5 or 1,000-year flood and all that. I don't make the rules. That comes from FEMA, the Army Corps of Engineers, and all that stuff. So if we place the sculpture, and it's mainly the base, in the floodplain, it will displace enough floodwaters that would have a negative impact on something downrange. Also, the one thing they look at when you put things in floodplains, during a flood, will they basically break loose and become debris then going down the range? They don't want that. Like our bridges and all of those things. We have a 1,000-year flood, those white pedestrian bridges downtown aren't going anywhere. You look at the bridges in Riverside Park and Quas Creek and all that, we build those, they don't move. They get flooded, they're underwater at times, but they don't move.
Right.
Because you don't want things breaking loose and going, we have enough of that, trees and all that other stuff, so.
So why didn't that come up in the initial install?
It's a great question. I was instructed after this thing moved around downtown and things like that, about 14 different locations, let's put it here and be done with it.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
That came from my supervisor at the time.
Yeah, okay.
Let's put it here, it's
Yeah,
done,
right.
everyone's happy.
Well,
Well,
most,
not everyone was happy, and we went through the formal steps and the floodplain analysis, et
Okay.
cetera. Other features along the Riverwalk, okay, the bird, okay. The West Bend Friends of Sculpture, we worked with them on that. Their floodplain analysis cost them $5,500.
extensive research
Ju-
went
ju-
into that.
just
That's
to do
why I
the
asked that
analysis,
question
yeah.
about this, yeah.
And we are also fortunate, SEH, the engineering firm that we worked with for the Riverwalk, they have all of the information. So when we do these floodplain analysis down there, it's not that we have to send a new survey crew down or anything like that. We tell Western Friends of Sculpture, go to SEH. Yes, it's gonna cost money, but they have all the information that they can do the study for them. Last month, we were talking about the sculpture on the other side of the river by the kayak launch and some benches and all that. The Friends of Sculpture have already contacted SEH. I talked to their engineer today. They're gonna start putting that study together. So we do these floodplain analysis for anything we put along the river. This particular one, that part of the process was skipped. I'll just, yeah.
I didn't think it was a big deal because it was concrete and metal, but
Yeah.
I did understand a little bit.
It's water displacement, if it's gonna break loose, all that stuff, so. And there's other backstories too with the whole project, so.
For the record, this is a beautiful sculpture.
It is.
That's all I have to say
Right.
about that.
I like the placement too, because it seems like it's out of the way and they're right on that.
I know, agreed.
Yeah.
Everybody bought into that spot then.
They did, and
Yep.
the one thing I like about it too is you don't have to get out of your vehicle to see it, things, you know, so, I mean, as far as foot traffic, vehicular traffic and all, it's, I mean, Old Settlers Park, that's our town square, you know, so.
Okay.
Good.
Is there a motion by anyone?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Now you're going to talk about proposed route change for a snowmobile trail?
Yes, over the past several decades, really, out at Kuss Creek Park, the West Bend Kettle Trailblazers, the snowmobile club, they've been running their snowmobile route through that park. Annually, we don't bring that agreement back to the commission because it's just, 10 years ago, I think Bill Bass made the motion, just let them keep running unless there needs to be changes. The snowmobile club does a great job through the park. They go right across our boardwalk and bridge. They plank all of that. It's a tremendous amount of work for them, but they do a good job to protect our wood and things like that that we have out there. The map that's in the memo, I'll say whatever, the purple line versus the yellow one. The current, or the route that they've been using through the industrial park back there needs to change because of the new We Energies development. So the yellow line on the map, as soon as you cross the river and you start going to the east, the snowmobile trail, that route will be on park property, that entire stretch. Along Trenton Road, the right-of-way, the area between the curb and the sidewalk is wide enough for the new trail. The one question was, this trail will then cross two private driveway approaches, the National Guard and then the business down there towards the north. The Snowmobile Club is responsible for acquiring permission from both of those business owners. Myself, the police chief, our city engineer, all the departments say this is all great, except three of us are like, they need to have permission from those two private property owners to, make this a viable option. So tonight, we would ask if the commission would approve on the condition that the Snowmobile Club gets that permission. And I would then follow up after this meeting with them. I know the club has already contacted both the property owners. I know they've made physical contact. I didn't follow up yet because I just wanted to get through this process first.
This, the area they're traversing, is that, like, it looks like a wetland, marshy area?
It's actually right where the line is, Craig, it's a berm. So just to the north of that line, you can kind of see it almost looks like a little wet in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think what it was when this was developed, those private properties are, the stormwater sheet flows from north to south.
Okay.
They put the berm in there to act as basically a retention pond before any of their stormwater ends up into the wetlands along the river. Which whoever did that was smart engineering to grab, and basically keep all the silt on the north side. So literally right where they have the trail marked on this map, that's probably where our future Riverwalk will run also. When Trenton Road is built, we have plans to run a Riverwalk underneath Trenton Road, hopefully along the airport and things like that. So where the yellow line is through the park property, it's high and dry.
So there's enough room on the side of that road for a snowmobile to keep a level?
There's enough room for the groomer even. The
Oh, really?
terrace,
Okay.
the terrace
Okay,
itself
it
is
just looks like
it's like
it's-
12
yeah.
feet wide.
Okay.
And the light poles and the fire hydrants and everything, for whatever magical reason, are right along the curb line.
Okay, good.
So it's like someone
Perfect spot.
almost,
Yeah, okay.
wow, we designed this for a snowmobile route. Or,
Okay.
Literally. Because I went out there, I wanted to make sure, and I got a hold of water utility. I mean, everyone, waters, fire, police, public works, everyone else. Again, it's in a public right of way and all that, so everyone was good with it. Even in the park property, they're crossing two culverts, overflow culverts. We've got enough fill over the top of those for equipment. It's the two biggest concerns were the two driveway approach, or one big concern was the two driveway approaches, so.
There was no concern with them about crossing the street to go to the gas station?
No, they've been crossing a couple of streets already.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think part of it is, we're not Eagle River, so if we do get the trails open,
Couple weeks.
it's limited exposure, If we were in a different part of the state, I think it'd be a different story, just usage, but.
Yeah, the one snowstorm a year we get, that's gonna give them enough snow, yeah.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Ryan, you have a resolution authorizing transfer?
Yes. The City of West Bend Recreation Division utilized a variety of sources for the development of the Westbury Bank Aquapark over the summer, which we all know was very successful. Funding for the Aquapark included donations from Westbury Bank, with $30,000 of the $60,000 being collected in 2025. Over the next 6 years, the remaining $30,000 from Westbury Bank is going to be collected in $5,000 increments. That was the plan moving forward. Nothing new there. The season's over with, all of the bills are paid, so it's kind of time to balance the books, which leads the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry staff to seek approval to transfer $28,124.33 from the Recreation Fund balance to an expense account to balance the Aquapark development costs. The overall Aquapark development project was executed within the planned budget. Again, the balancing just comes with the deferment of that $30,000. And the purpose for the fund transfer will cover the construction costs until the remaining pledged donations are received over the coming years. At the end of last year, there was $107,741.99 in the rec fund balance, so very hearty balance there. At the end of this year in 2025, we are expecting to redeposit significantly more than $28,000 into the rec fund balance, so it's not like we will be depleting that account to pay the bills. It's just sort of balancing the budget for the next 6 years until we get that repayment back, so.
Usual business.
Yep.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Ryan. Carl, Kuss Field improvements. Mike, you're taking that?
Yes. The West Bend Baseball Association is proposing several improvements to Kuss Field in Regner Park, new bullpens, batting tunnels, and a new access gate. Some of this work would, if approved this evening, could occur yet this year or spring of 2026, when the field and the surrounds would be firm enough. The first item for improvement or proposed improvement would be the installation of a synthetic bullpen on the first base side. It'd be just outside of our irrigation panel out there and the one field light. Our staff would do some of the excavating and site preparation with some base stone. We would work with a contractor as far as placing the border for the synthetic turf and bringing in some additional gravel. The contractor that the Baseball Association would like to use, we use that contractor already to do some grooming and some maintenance on the synthetic turf. They're a good quality contractor. So that would be the first base side would be the bullpen there. On third base side, right now we have the existing batting tunnels outside the fence. We would pull those existing batting tunnels, purchase some new ones, move them closer to the tennis court. So we would have room for 2 batting tunnels and a new bullpen over there in the same footprint that we have right now. It's basically, we just need to move things over and tighten things up a little bit. And again, that entire surface end inside of those bullpens and the batting tunnels would also be synthetic. So, I mean, even for the athletes, as far as footwear goes and things like that, they're already using the certain shoes for the infield. That'll work great for these areas also. And then the third item would be an access gate into the tennis court, so they could chase fly balls, things like that. I think some of those guys are getting too old to run down the street to get the fly balls. So.
Kids are for it.
Estimated value for the improvements is right around $105,000. We also did include the MOU in the packet with the Baseball Association, and these projects are basically right in line with the next items, for that MOU. These are baseball amenities that, most ball diamonds have. If these are approved this evening, we would move forward with the project. Some potential other improvements would be windscreens around the fence and then a batter's eye coming up sometime in the future out in center field. So that's what we got.
I'm glad that they got the money for the improvements.
Yeah.
Motion
Stupid
to approve.
question. Wouldn't you want the bullpen closer to the diamond than the batting tunnels?
Part of it is room. It's just physically getting it all in there. You mean just
The ones
basically
on
swapping
the-
them?
Yeah, right, swapping them.
So part of it is,
Coming in out of the bullpen, you wanna,
that's part of it, it's just easier access, because the gate's right there. Where the yellow bullpen is, sorry, trying to look at Justice's map. Where the yellow bullpen is, that's right where the access gate is.
oh, okay, got it.
Yep.
They know what they're doing. All right,
Motion to approve?
Second.
motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried again. Thank you. And historical kiosks. Mike?
Thank you. The Ziegler Family Foundation would like to donate 3 historical kiosks to be placed at the place of origin. Recently, the Ziegler Family Foundation has been working with the Tower Heritage Center on developing these 3 historical kiosks that they would like to place in the park. They wanted them, the historical, the Tower Heritage Center rather, they're the ones with the accurate information, basically. So they wanted to make sure that the photos were accurate, the dates and the information were accurate. The Zieglers had some real solid information, but it was just a great way of kind of dotting the i's and crossing the t's to make sure that if these go out, that it's all accurate. These kiosks will display the history and importance of this site. The Ziegler Family Foundation would like to donate these 3 kiosks at a value of about $5,000. Our staff would do the installation. They're not made yet and all that stuff, so I don't know if it would be 2025 or 2026 for an install. I walked the site with some of the family members. I didn't provide the greatest map in the packet, but we know where the property lines are, we know where the floodplains are and all that stuff. The Zieglers are not gonna do a floodplain analysis and all that. We'll keep these high and dry. And the way the walk is now, we can put these in highly visible locations where even someone with a mobility device and things like that, they can see them, they can read them. All of that seemed to check out. The proposed information's in the packet. Again, it'd be 3 kiosks. I did check with development as far as our sign ordinance goes and all that stuff. They have no concerns with these whatsoever, the size of them. And they're informational. They're not marketing, they're not trying to sell anything. It's not a billboard on city property or park property or anything.
no lighting or anything, just.
No lighting, yep.
They'll be wonderful.
2 of them will be located right by overhead lights. One will be close to one, Craig, yeah.
So they have to build the kiosk, but this is the final product of the,
This is what they
Looks
would,
good.
yeah, this is what they would look like, and then the one slide has the, kind of the dimensions and how they would look, so, So they're not huge, that was one concern, okay, how big and all that, but, yeah, they're aluminum, maintenance-wise and all that, At some point in time, I would assume maybe the board itself might fade and things like that, but everything, the materials they're using, the aluminum, et cetera, should be of quality and, no low maintenance really, so.
Does it kind of match the railings and things that are there already?
It'll be very similar to
Yeah,
it, yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a nice idea.
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Program fees. Ryan?
Yup, just a couple of changes to highlight. The first being archery. We had done $5 per class for residents, $7.50 for non-residents. Asking permission to bump that to $6 for residents, $9 for non-residents. Arrows are expensive. In the 3.5 years I've been here, I've tried just about every type of arrow imaginable, and they all last about the same. Looking at my expense report for this year, I've spent $483 on archery supplies. I would bet 90% of that was arrows, so we have to cover the cost somehow. So the new fee structure there, gymnastics, baseball and t-ball, Regner Park ice skating, spring soccer, swimming lessons, youth tennis, youth track and field, and women's health and fitness. No proposed changes there. Moving on to contracted programs, we'll start with the no changes, which are adult ballroom dance, Learn and Play program with the West Bend School District, and Red Cross Babysitter Certification course, no changes there. And then the youth and adult judo did mimic their fall fee, going from $79 to $95. Again, with the anticipated fee to rent the McLean gym in the future, from what we've learned with the school district and our partnership there. And then Courtney could not be here tonight, but her programs at Lac Laurent will do the no changes, which are Winter Wonders, Luminary Walk, Nature in the Classroom, Snowshoe Fridays and Saturdays, Birding in West Bend, Bald Eagle Nest Watching, School Field Trips, and the Wildflower Plant Sale, so no proposed changes there. And then the one change for Courtney is the LLC Winter Fun Day, decreasing from 8 to 12 for residents and $18 to $12 for non-residents, doing so to attract a higher enrollment rate in that class. So that's what we've got.
Ryan, you're increasing the archery class by $6? Is that what
It
that?
would be, the way that my brain works is I do it per class. So if we offer 5 classes in the spring session of archery, it would be 30 for a resident or 45 for a non-resident. So it would be a $1 increase per class for a resident or $1.50
Just
for
a
a
different
That's
structure.
kind of what I thought, that you were talking about a dollar increase. Is that enough?
I don't want to out drive people, I guess, but starting somewhere, I guess. And if if we're here at the end of the spring and I can see when I have a fresh budget that, holy crap, I've spent a lot on supplies, my brain's going to realize it's probably arrows again.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it seems like that's $1. I mean,
Yeah,
six,
and
six
we-
bucks isn't that, $7.50 wouldn't be that much either, you know?
Yeah, and we like to offer affordable programming that we
Sure.
think that everyone can obtain. So yeah, definitely something to consider in the future if, we're in the same position a year from now.
Okay.
See how it
Yeah,
works
I
out.
guess we can always increase it again, sure.
Or buy your own arrows.
Right, yeah.
Then we would get broadheads.
For sure.
Any other questions for him?
I move to approve.
Second. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
No other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Ryan. Now we have donations.
Sorry, spaced out there for a second. I have the first two. The first one is from the West Bend Friends of Parks and Recreation for $25,000. It is their second and final installment of their $50,000 commitment to the Westbury Bank Aquapark. So a giant thank you to the West Bend Friends of Parks and Recreation. Couldn't have made that happen without them. And the second donation that I have is Westbury Bank's first of 7 of the $5,000 yearly sponsorships of the Westbury Bank Aquapark. Thank you to Westbury Bank for that.
Finally, we have a donation from the Roots and Branches organization. They gifted us $1,000 as a thank you for using the office space here at City Hall and some administrative support from Tanya and myself. So thank you to Roots and Branches for that gift. Goes into the PARC fund, which you'll see in Q4 of that quarterly trust report.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve donations? Motion and a second by Sarah. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, and thank you for the generous donations. Reports, Chairman. I'll just say that it was my pleasure last night to be here for the designer of Grind Line for the skate park. It was really nice to see that they designed these all over the country. It was really neat to see the examples they had, and it was neat. Kids were here and they were to see the enthusiasm. I thought that was really nice. They were asking what kind of design they would like, what kind of features and stuff. It's nice to have that participation. They even asked me what I need. I just wanted a bench.
Something, it's a place to sit.
No, that was wonderful. It's long overdue. We need that. Other equipment is getting so bad. We got to get this other skate park going. So that's all I have. Got anything?
Yeah, I just had one thing. I just want to give everybody some homework to do, think about for next month. I'd like to put an item on the agenda for next month to talk about the disposition of the current skate park. Now that we've kicked off the new skate park, it's in really bad shape. It's rusty and kind of dangerous to be at. So think about, what do we do? Do we scrap it and open up that parking space, or do we keep putting money into it, or what do we do? So let's have a discussion on that next month and see what we can come up with. Nobody uses it. Everybody says it's dangerous, and
Well, problem is
actually
there
have-
are people still using
They
it.
do use it,
Well,
though.
That's,
but
the
that is
advanced
also a
kids.
problem too, because
yeah, right. Yeah.
I know the pyramid down there is in bad shape, and I think that it's gonna get removed.
yeah,
And the decks for the half pipes are in bad shape. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to make that decision on, because it could be a couple of years before we get this other one built.
yeah. But I mean, I think it provides, if we do shut this one down, it provides them greater incentive to start, fundraising with, a higher priority. And if there's something we can do, get them the scrap price from the, if we can get them some revenue from the parking, we just, let's think about it and talk about how we can.
Like
promote the
Justice
skate
said, I
park
mean, I go down there a lot, and kids do use it.
Yeah.
I think the advanced kids, they go to the other parks where it's better challenging.
And I've talked to people from the skate park, or the Friends of Skate Park too, and they're like, yeah, we don't use it, and they would be
It's mostly-
okay with shutting it down.
It's a lot of the kids use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be,
The segment, did anybody else see the segment on Channel 4? Recently,
Yep.
Marcus Arsfeld,
Yep.
he interviewed a couple kids and they had close-ups of the equipment and it looked pretty bad.
It's, yeah. It's
Not a good
Black eye on the
picture
park.
for
City.
the skate park.
Mike, you got something?
Yeah, just two quick things. So, and it was mentioned already, the large pyramid that's at the skate park right now will be going away. After some back and forth discussion with Mike and Craig this week, I did a quick visual inspection on it, whatever day, I think it was yesterday, I think. And that pyramid is done, and we need to remove it. It's just beyond repairable. The remainder, so if you see us down there doing something, well, hey, we didn't even vote on it. Just like a piece of playground equipment or a bleacher or anything else, that piece needs to be just removed. It does. So if you see us down there, don't be like, hey, what are they doing? That's what we're doing. The rest, the remainder of it, we will leave. And there's one other panel that's loose. I talked to Dan about that. They're gonna get that repaired also. So that's just one thing I wanted to mention. Also, to follow up with what Mike said, with us hiring Grindline, Grindline's not working for us for free. That's an almost $52,000 contract. We were very fortunate that Mike Nast and his family donated $50,000 towards this process. So I want to mention that because, hey, and I agree with Mike, it was great. We met with them yesterday and last evening, and it's a great company. We hired professionals to work us through this, towards a solution, but we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Mike Nass and that $50,000 commitment. So
That's a
I
great
just wanted to mention that one more time.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Could put this on the agenda, and I encourage all the commissioners to go down there, like you said, and take a look at it.
And I'll put a little history together as far as the age of the equipment and things like that. I mean, the history is long, but.
If it's repairable to keep it safe without spending a lot of money, it doesn't hurt to leave it.
Yep.
But yeah,
And we've had requests for additional parking from the local development.
sure, okay,
So,
yeah.
Which is fine, but I mean, we want to still have
Yep.
opportunities for the kids. I mean,
Yeah.
There are kids
long as
using
it's
it, so,
safe.
yeah.
No, I'll try and put together, the history of the skate park, things like that. Some of the questions with parking and, there's some value with that also, so.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for bringing that up. Quarterly trust report review?
One quick mention, the park fees, the acquisition fees, those are our impact fees. Right now, we are at $488,000. Some previous projects that we use impact fees for are like the Beach House, Aquapark, Riverwalk downtown, Nature Playground. So potential future projects for the impact fees would be our skate park, development, planning, engineering, development of Park Site O, and the All Abilities Playground. So, I don't know how, and not necessarily in that order, certainly the skate park first. That's always been a higher priority. went through, as far as large projects, we've done Kuss Field and the Beach House and the Riverwalk, and Skate Park is kind of our next one before we get to Parkside O and the All Abilities. But I can't say it's 2026, we would possibly look at some planning for Parkside O, putting together concept plans and design and things like that, so.
Do we have any projections on what the park impact fees additions are gonna be from the development on that side of town?
I don't have that, we do, what it is, Craig, off the top of my head, I don't know. So, again, part of it is, and we've discussed this at the commission level, Parkside O, instead of building some more neighborhood parks, like 18th and NN, and then there's some future development along Resco, Parkside O would be, that next location for that park. But we'd like to, again, put together a large plan, phase plan to, could we put the all abilities in Parkside O? What else, what other amenities, other partners do we want to work with for the development of Parkside O? It's not going to be cheap to develop the entire property. I mean, I got some really cool ideas, but with the development of Parkside O is also our park and open space plan, and I'm hoping we will have money for that also next year. And the city needs to do an update on a comprehensive plan. So the reality is, we would like to hire one consultant to do the comp plan, our park and open space plan, because so much of that information is in both plans. And it's gonna be an engineering type of firm. We just hire them at the same time then to start working with us on Parkside O. So those are just mentally some of the things that I'm thinking about at this point in time. So our impact fees, we have a lot there right now. Craig's good question with 18th and NN. So we will have an increase coming here, plus everything else that's pending for that side of the city. But we're also looking at skate park, and just the planning process is not gonna be cheap. When I talk about planning process, I'm not talking about just pretty little pictures. I'm talking about soil borings, wetland delineations. We have a creek that runs through the property. I got a couple ideas on how we can get across it and all that, but we're gonna need vehicles to get across it and whatever. So, so it's not gonna be, hey, let's build Parkside O next year, because it's gonna be an extensive project. But I think, I like the idea of not building little neighborhood parks all over, consolidate, literally put our money here, and honestly, if we're gonna build Regner Park in the south end of the city, something like that.
Well, really? Okay, okay.
And again, not overnight, but,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I remember that site though, yeah.
so. That's what I got, Mike, for kind of,
You.
for the report.
And then we got other reports.
Conservation Supervisor Courtney passed along a couple quick items. Nature in her classroom started this month. It runs through April. Again, I think they're in 96 different classrooms. It's her and a small army of volunteers. The Nature Playground, it continues to be a huge success. And Courtney and the stewards are getting everything ready for snowshoeing and all that stuff out there. So I know we have no snow on the ground, but they're getting ready for it, so.
I see, whenever I go by the nature playground, there's always kids out there playing. It's a great addition. And Brian, you got anything?
Yeah, a couple quick things. Swimming lessons ended October 25th, successful session. The next one will start in January and then again in February. Youth sports for the fall wrapped up, so baseball, soccer, and gymnastics, the first part of that. Gymnastics will keep going on throughout the winter, so right now we're offering that on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so 4 sessions of that total, or 4 offerings, I guess, and each one of those is full, so keep growing our gymnastics program, which is nice to see. Dance is still in the beach house for the time being. We're hoping to get them into the LRC in the next couple of weeks as work continues there. I met with the head dance instructor, Monica, last Thursday, and I was fortunate enough to get to spend multiple hours ordering 300 dance costumes for the spring dance recital. Sounds like a simple task, but you would be shocked by how
it
many
doesn't.
times there was just the one outlier of a size that you,
So check a search history.
that wasn't there. So what I thought was gonna be hopefully a quick, like 2-3 hour task turned into 5 in a hurry, so. but good to get it done nonetheless. First of 3 lifeguarding courses that are planned is gonna start in November. We have 7 participants in this course, which is good. Many of them have worked for the Parks and Rec Department in some capacity in the past, so I know for 5 out of the 7 who I'll be dealing with. As we've talked about, the contract with Grindline was signed last Monday. CEO of Grindline was on site, so it was good to kind of meet who we'll be working with over the next couple of months. Community meeting last night, about 30 to 35 community members showed up and listened to the presentation there. And then in the 9 days since we signed the contract with Grindline, we released the online survey that yielded 46 results. So pretty good turnout there. Talking with Matt, the CEO of Grindline, it was pretty typical results of what he would see. So there was nothing that kind of threw him off the trail of what he would suspect to build. Or design, I should say. And then the winter and spring activity guide has been submitted to Conley Media for publishing, so that should be coming hot off the press pretty soon. Tanya and Carolyn do a lot of work in that, so thank you to them for all of their efforts, checking dates and prices and making sure that we didn't miss anything between Courtney and I and everyone else who submits for that. Registration for that, November 18th for residents and November 25th for non-residents.
Great. Any questions for Ryan?
Yeah, how are we doing? How's the lifeguard thing going? Looking okay for next year?
So I purposely, for me being the sole instructor, I'm able to go out to 10 participants. I capped this one at 7 in January. So the first planned lifeguarding course in 2026 is like February 20th, give or take, and then again in March. So January, while all the college kids are home on winter break and I know I'll get responses, that's when I'm gonna start asking them like, hey, what are your plans for next summer? You know, some might not know, some will be a no right away, some will be a yes right away, but that'll kind of give me an inkling of, okay,
Sure.
I need to hire 15 more or 10 more, wherever I'm at. So
Yeah, it's early,
I
so,
intentionally kept this one lower.
nice. Awesome, thanks.
Thanks. If our project manager was here, he would tell us that the handicap parking spots by Labyrinth is completed.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, other than the
I
backfill.
drive right by there, I didn't even notice
Yeah,
that,
I was
okay.
there- through there today.
Nice.
Yeah, looks good. They got it striped, lined, or whatever you call it, and good. Okay, Mike, you got anything?
Yeah, I also have a couple of quick items for Dan. I'll just do it all at once. Dan wanted to mention that the guys have been working at Riverside Park on the new batting tunnels. That was, again, a Thunder Baseball donation. The commission gave them the green light about 3 years ago for that project. It's about a $35,000 project where Thunder Baseball is paying for all the equipment and our staff is doing the install. Also, facility shutdown this time of year, winterizing buildings, irrigation systems, all that. We are working through that. And I don't know if you saw the press release go out, we are looking at a prescribed burn next week, Monday, and then also November 17th, Riverside Park and out at the Conservancy. We tried to burn this spring, it was a little too wet. Lots of questions, when's the best time of the year to burn, not burn, and all that, whatever. If you burn in the spring, will you damage any nesting birds and things like that? You could. You burn in the fall, where the insects can hide all winter and this and that, whatever. Well, I can tell you, West Bend's 9,000 acres, and if we burn 20 acres at Riverside Park, I think our insect populations will be just fine. And to be honest with you, burning is the most natural and most beneficial maintenance practice we could ever do to
I'm
these
sure
areas.
that's true, yeah.
So, my last items, I gave everyone the capital budget for next year that was approved last council meeting. I'm going to jump ahead to, I'm not going through this whole thing. I'm gonna go to page 3. They got a nice little pie chart up on top. So ultimately, for next year, the city's capital budget's right around $10.6 million. Of that 10.6 million, 4.7 goes straight to the new fire station. The 4.8 million that's earmarked for engineering, that is new road projects and also quite a bit of work in TIF 14 and TIF 17. A lot of stormwater work, things like that, like down by Milwaukee Tool and all that. But that's a really good indicator. When they're spending TIF monies, that means their increments are up. That means that we're selling these properties and they're getting developed. So Again, I'm not gonna go through all of it. Over the last couple of years, or during the past couple of years, our department annually received about $300,000 in capital funds. This year, we are receiving $100,000 for Mink Play Lot, for the new equipment up there, and $20,000 of capital money for new HVAC at the Riverside building. So after 56 years, we're finally gonna get air conditioning in the Riverside building. So in this budget, it shows for parks, $120,000. What it doesn't show is during our budget discussions here at City Hall, things like that, the one thing this cranky old guy from Parks mentioned was we borrow money every year, in my opinion, for maintenance items. And it's like, don't borrow money for a fire truck, borrow money for a road, borrow money for something that's going to be around for 20 years, 30 years, whatever. So the one thing we did this year, we were able to do this year, and we were very fortunate to do it this year. So again, I just said, oh, we're only getting $120,000 in capital funds. In our operating budget, we've increased our forestry operating budget by $15,000 to just facilitate our annual street tree planting. Okay, so instead of borrowing that money every year, it's just in our operating budget. Just, to me, it makes sense.
Yep.
Also, and some asphalt maintenance we wanted to do in Regner Park around the entertainment area, that was $22,000. So originally, we had that in our capital budget, because that's where you put those things. But we were able to move that now into our operating budget. So, and there's other things. Maintenance out at the airport. Every year, engineering would spend $16,000 a year. They bring in a contractor and they go to an intersection, controlled intersection, stop and go lights, and they update everything there for the emergency sensors and all that stuff. So again, a bunch of those maintenance items we were able to move into our operating budgets, which makes a tremendous amount of sense. The council did that a number of years ago with squad cars. Every year, they're borrowing money to go buy squad cars. They put 300,000 miles on them and all that, whatever. It's just part of their operating budget now. So when I say we only got 120 grand in the capital budget, we did. That's what we got. But if you look at those other two items, it's $157,000. So is it the 300,000 we're used to? No. But you start, in this budget is 500,000 for a fire truck, 300,000 for a new boiler for this building. The boiler in this building should have been replaced like 20 years ago. There's holes in it, there's water leaking, et cetera, et cetera. So every year we set about $1 million aside for non-engineering road projects. Well, take $1 million, 500,000 goes to a fire truck, 300,000 to a boiler, 100,000 to a playground, and that $1 million goes pretty quick. So that's the capital budget. If you have any questions, please ask me if you have questions in 2 days or something. It also includes the 5-year plan, so if you wonder which roads they're gonna redo next and all that, that's in here. The big one next year is Kilbourne from Indiana up to Winchester. That'll be a big one.
Did you, now, I know you're never gonna walk away from a budget meeting happy, but did you walk away from this budget
No.
in general? With
This
a sense-
budget, no.
No, okay,
Our operating labor budget, so far, yes.
okay.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah,
And-
that is irritating.
well, and,
Yes, I agree.
you know, so some days I think, oh, we have the largest asset list and the smallest capital budget. We do, we have the largest asset list. Okay, well, and you sit here as a municipality and you look at your priorities. What are they? You know, roads and things like that, a new fire station and all that. And then you look at priorities and it's like, okay, well, our objectives are completely different than the fire department's. Our objective, fire.
Safety,
or,
quality of life,
all
yeah,
that.
right,
So
yeah. They're both
does this
important.
mean we won't have any improvement projects next year? No, well, January, February, we'll bring our full list again before the commission and all that. We've got plenty of projects to do. It's just, you follow me? The one thing I worry about with this budget is no equipment at our workshops getting replaced. We were hoping to get rid of a 30-year-old tractor, do some upgrades and things like that. It's not getting replaced. Those are the things I worry about. You know, some of these other items, if we don't crack seal some asphalt this year, it's one thing, but the replacement of a truck or a tractor, you know, those are our maintenance. That's our hardware to get things done, so, yep. So, and I mean, it's a budget. It is the reality. Alan, you've done it how many years, you know, and how do you balance it and where the priorities are and all, I mean, it's not an easy equation, so.
No.
And then my last item is operating labor budget goes before common council for public, their public hearing is November 10th. And I believe Mary Beth voting on it that night, most likely if things go, and so far, even, for the city's operating and labor budget, that all looks, there's no surprises or like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. You know, sometimes you read, well, social media or other communities that are struggling and all that, and West Bend's not right now. I think we're in a pretty decent shape, so. So operating and labor, yeah, it's coming up.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Any questions for Mike? Anything else for good of the order? I saw the Christmas tree got put up on Old Settlers Park today.
Yep, they're
so
working on
Tis
it.
the season, I guess.
Yeah, Barton's gonna start this weekend, so.
There you go. All right. There's no further business. I will adjourn.
Do you remember, of course you remember, we did the study, the